we just begin. So again, those of you who have never met us before, congratulations for joining us here today. Before we even start, let's remember one thing. Utopia Ucenter, we don't launch until October, okay? So the fact that we're sitting here together in May is incredible. The timing couldn't be better. It's very exciting. So a little bit about myself, because I can see a lot of names here that I hadn't seen before. My name is Nick Engström. I'm originally from Sweden. Right now I'm here in Bangkok because we are in the middle of opening this office. This is our third office around the world. The company Utopia, by the time we launch in October, it will not be a baby company because we've been working on this for 5 years. Emmanuel Quezada, the founder and CEO of the company, started the company 5 years ago. And I am so excited to share with you a little bit of the background. My personal background and connection was that a little bit about last summer, I got a phone call from a very dear friend of mine introducing me to Emmanuel, saying that here's a young man who would like to start a bank. And I said, well, me personally coming from a banking family, my father opened up banks all around the world, and my brother and I, we had front row seats to what banks actually are, not just what customers see, but what they are behind the scenes. Because, you know, when you're going on vacation together with other bank families and executives and so forth, you understand what it is from the inside, from looking from the inside out. And so when I heard about somebody being interested in banks, I was like, not really. I'm not really interested because I don't know anybody today who feels that their bank is their best friend. Or in some cases, even some people don't feel like the bank even has their best in mind. And so I said, I'm not interested in that. And then my friend corrected himself. He said, no, this gentleman, he actually wants to redesign how that works, how banking, how finances work. And I said, okay, now I'm all ears. And that was exciting to me. And that's where the conversation began. I remember asking him, do you have things in place? Do you realize how big of a project this is? And after getting to know Emmanuel Quezada, I understood that he's a gentleman who's wise way beyond his years. He really is. He's as kind as he is intelligent. I've gotten to know his family, and they're just all incredible people. The family is just wonderful. And he comes from a very, very strong family as well. After getting to know Emmanuel a little bit better, I understood also that there's, you know, in their family, they have politics. You know, his brother is running for Mexico, for president in Mexico, and they have politicians in the family. So they come from a very strong background in that sense. But the thing that really impressed me was that their family runs the company called ATS Group, which is arguably probably the strongest and the biggest regulatory and compliance company out of Mexico, one of the biggest in South America. And they do regulatory work and compliance for S&P companies. I mean, basically, if you imagine all the biggest brands that you know, they're probably their clients. And they're so big that they even do compliance for the compliance company, like Deloitte, for example. And so I understood that, okay, there's a deep, deep understanding of regulatory environment, global regulations. There's connections when it comes to regulations. There's political connections and others. You know, that began to open up my curiosity that this could actually come together, provided that there's a powerful team. Now, I asked Emmanuel, of course, well, who else do you have on your team? And he presented to me, he told me about all the wonderful people he has, his partner, Owen Ma. He told me about Maya Nix. He told me about Shawnee Walsh. He told me about all the people. But he told me about one gentleman in particular. He said, well, I have this gentleman by the name of Kyle Kemper. Now, if any of you have been in blockchain, you probably heard the name Kyle Kemper. Now, I've gotten to know Kyle over the last couple of weeks here in Thailand, and he's also, I would consider him a colleague, a partner, but more importantly, I would consider him a friend. I met him and his wife and their kids, and they're just an incredible family. Kyle has an extraordinary background. You know, I've met a lot of business people over the years and entrepreneurs and people just from all walks of life, presidents, celebrities, billionaires, all walks of life. And, you know, there are people who I would categorize as they are experts. There's experts and authorities. And the way that I would separate the two categories is that experts are the people who've read all the papers. They know a subject really, really well. But the authorities are the people who write those papers. The authorities are the ones who figure things out. And so I would very much, in the highest regard, consider Kyle Kemper an authority in all things blockchain, tokenization, decentralized, permanent, all things, all aspects. He has done hundreds of projects in this space. When governments seek advice, they speak to Kyle Kemper when it's in North America. And he's done this kind of work all around the world. He's an author of multiple books. He's an incredible communicator and speaker. And so today, the original plan was for me to speak long, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hand the microphone right over to Mr. Kyle Kemper here so that you can, for yourself, get to know him, hear his story. He's going to share with you his background. He's going to give you some amazing advice here today. Again, I heard just the other day when he spoke to a group of people, there was a gentleman who said, if I had known that one thing that you just said, that would have saved me years of headache and that would have saved me a lot of money. So please stay tuned for the golden nuggets that you're going to pick up. And without any further ado, I want to introduce to you Mr. Kyle Kemper.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Nick, so much for the kind introduction, and really grateful for the opportunity. Congratulations on being here, on being on this leading edge of innovation, of community development, of knowledge, of experience. I will say, like, I have been in Bangkok now for about a month. I came with my whole family. I have a very big family. I have 6 children. 3 of them are with me here, and it has been, the most incredible, inspiring kind of journey to come here. And having worked with a lot of different companies in the tech space, in the crypto space, the blockchain space, just coming and seeing, our beautiful office here that's full of life. Like, there's people working in deep into the night, not because they're being forced to, but because they want to. The energy is really beautiful, and also one of the things that I've just noticed, Nick is an absolute legend, knows everybody, and we're having a constant stream of leaders coming in here to do their due diligence, because we understand, when you commit to something, when you want to make sure you do your due diligence and you understand that everything is there in play. And I feel like that's what kind of we're here today to do. And this is my opportunity to kind of introduce myself to you. And I don't believe this is a one-way street either. At the end of one of my short presentation, I'd like to open up the chat, and really, I'm going to ask questions about what you guys would like to learn, where you want to know, any questions that you have pertaining to Utopia, to U.Center, to the Academy, to the space in general. Like, there's no stupid questions, because we are building a community. We're building an academy to enable knowledge transfer, enable teaching. And I'm blessed to have, I don't know, I started in this space in 2013, so 13 years of working in crypto and blockchain. And, before that, 5 years in tech, and before that, some work in venture capital, and before that, entrepreneurial stuff. And my family owns some bars in Ottawa. I'm originally from Canada. But here, let me pop up my kind of little presentation that I prepared here that kind of just goes through things. And I'm going to go side by side because I think this is better. Okay, so this is me. I'm the president of Utopia. Incredibly grateful to be here. Go over my story, going to go over the vision of Utopia as this next generation digital financial institution, stable fi opportunity. And we're going to talk about U.Center as the academy for learning, and this portal and this community generation, and then the abundant community that we're building, the networking opportunity, which is, from my perspective, like, I've never seen something so exciting to be able to go to market. And I'll get into that, but it's just very, like, oh my goodness, and incredible foundations have been laid. So I'll just talk about a little of myself here. I'm just going to go over to this, and hold on. Okay, here we go. So I don't know if you guys know this guy. Thumbs up if you know who this is. This is Ron Paul. Ron Paul ran for president in 2008 and 2012. And I was working in venture capital at the time. And after university, I was a bit of a skeptic. I was kind of concerned about where things were going with the global financial system. And Ron Paul and some other inputs, some educational inputs, kind of informed me to the structure of central banking and how it's worked and the position it's got us to. An immense amount of good has come out of it, but also some call it the creature from Jekyll Island. Some view it as, a cancer on civilization. Ron Paul is certainly in that camp and was advocating for sound money and sound money policies. So when I saw what he was doing and learned a lot from him, I became very inspired, and I got really into gold. And I had originally mapped out some digital gold solutions, and this was in like 2009, 2010. And then in 2010, I see Bitcoin. I'm literally at a friend's place, and it's very early. This is probably like 4 or 5 months after, like, the first blocks have been mined. It's been introduced. It's very niche, doesn't even have a value, and but it's alive. I didn't get it. I dismissed it, and this is a common theme with everyone. If you instantly jump onto something without questioning it, I'd say that's a red flag. Everybody needs to go through their thing. It took me a number of iterations, actually from 2010 until 2013. And in 2013, no, wrong way. In 2013, I had a little hobby business. I was working my family restaurant in Ottawa, Canada. I had a hobby business selling custom wood laser engraved iPhone cases. And someone from this exchange called btcquick.com reached out and they said, "Can you make me an iPhone case with our company logo on it?" I was like, "Oh, I'd love to." And wow, so interesting. Bitcoin. I'm very interested in Bitcoin. And then they asked, could I pay you in Bitcoin? I said, absolutely, I would love that. So I sold my very first Bitcoin I ever received. I didn't mine it, I didn't buy it, I wasn't given it. I actually sold a good for it, which, yeah, feels pretty good. And at the time, Bitcoin was $120 a coin, and I sold the iPhone case for half a Bitcoin. So at today's price of 80,000, it's like a $40,000 Bitcoin, or $40,000 iPhone case. So anyway, that like kind of started it off. And then after I did that, I actually got this ATM. I met the ATM manufacturer. They were making Bitcoin ATMs. They're actually based out of Ottawa, Canada. And I installed one into our restaurant. And then I got a phone call from my friend with the Senate of Canada. And he said, "Hey, Kyle, you put a Bitcoin ATM in your restaurant." I was like, "Sure did." It's like the senators are studying Bitcoin right now, and they would like to do a field trip to the restaurant to better understand it. And it's like, okay, we've got like the machine in the back corner, it's kind of like in a closet. It's like not greatest setting to have, like, 20 Canadian senators coming to learn about it. What if I just brought the ATM to you? Like, you can do that? I'm like, absolutely. It's not that big. So I did that. And we brought it to the floor of the Senate, and they'd been studying Bitcoin for about a year, and they'd never even seen a transaction happen. So with my colleague at the time, Victoria, we showed them, just, "Here's $20, Victoria. Can you send me some Bitcoin?" Showed them how a basic transaction works, how this new digital money works. And then we had the ATM, and this gentleman, his name's Chris, he took $50 from the chair of the committee, put it in. I think Bitcoin at the time was $250, something around that. So I think he got about a quarter of a Bitcoin for $50 in cash. And, he loaded it, worked, it was great. And this kind of kicked off, this just started, like, things. This is when they found out that I was doing, when some of the industry people found out, oh, next thing I know, I had the Bitcoin manufacturer there, and I also had the biggest exchange in Canada there, and that's the gentleman in the bottom right. And then I ended up joining them in a strategy business development role, and we rolled out Bitcoin ATMs all over Canada. I personally rolled out 10 Bitcoin ATMs in 2 days out of a Penske truck, driving around Ontario in Canada. Had this amazing ribbon cutting ceremony. This is just so early too. It was wild. Looking back on like, how far we've come. So then after that, I was elected to the Blockchain Association of Canada. I became the executive director of that. I did that for 5 years. We ultimately merged with the largest US trade association called the Chamber of Digital Commerce to create a unified front for doing industry advocacy, for understanding like a trade association point of view. I will say it was very early times, and a lot of people were very interested. It was a very unique, exciting opportunity to be able to interface with the regulators, with the consumers, with the banks, with the central banks, with other associations, to be going to the crypto conferences. As if you've never been to a crypto conference, look for one that's around you and definitely go. They literally changed my life, and I've met so many incredible people. And I'll get to that in a moment. So after the Blockchain Association of Canada, I joined, I was with CA Vertex, which got acquired by Coinsetter, which got acquired by Kraken. Kraken's one of the largest organizations, one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet, like the same kind of scale as Coinbase. I worked with all sorts of different wallet companies, launched conferences, I've spoken all over the place. Within this arena, like I have very, very deep roots, and I've been a heck of an evangelist with Change Tip up there in the top right. That company is no longer with us, unfortunately, but it was a way that you could really, really easily send Bitcoin like in a text message or on Twitter. It was so easy. It was so great. I was the head of tipping there. And I just literally, I've probably given away more Bitcoin to people individually. It kind of makes me a little bit sick, but it's okay because it's a good thing to teach and to give. It's one of the core 10 principles is giving. So, eh, great, 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 great. And part of the journey has also been wallets and like being deep on wallets, because in order to participate in the digital economy, you need a wallet. And if you have an account with a Kraken or a Coinbase, they're kind of like a crypto bank. And I'll be happy to dive in and explain. We're just starting our relationship. There's going to be a great chance to develop and to go deep on many of these subjects. But at the core, I knew that wallets are so critical, and everybody is going to need to have a wallet. And the question is, are you going to be in control of your keys? Are you going to be in control of your money? Are you going to be in control of your data? Are you going to be in control of your identity? Because there are certain forces that want everything to be centralized, where you're not in control. You have the privilege of using money. You have the privilege of having identity. You have the privilege of accessing services and them holding on to your data. There's going to be a place in the middle, and we're working on the technology that enables this. But the core thing is wallets. So I wrote a book called, I'll get to this one in a second, but I wrote a book called The Unified Wallet, Unlocking the Digital Golden Age, delving into how Bitcoin works, how blockchain works, a little bit of the story, and kind of, providing some foresight into what will be possible. And it feels like we're on track. This was pre-AI time, so it was done like, in a whole manual, lovely way. Um, I feel like probably due for a new book, but I do feel that now with Utopia and with U.Center and what we're building here, we're realizing this. And I know that Emmanuel also kind of saw that and is like, we are building the unified wallet. And I said, okay, that's a really, really big thing. It's a huge thing, and we'll get there. And I'll talk a little bit about the product journey and what that looks like towards getting there, but not trying to rush to market with too complex of a solution too quickly. My decades of experience in marketing and product have established a wisdom when it comes to what works and what consumers like and what people like, and also what works for messaging. And if you have too many messages or too many products and too many features, people get confused. So we're going to deliver something beautiful and delightful, and that just works. And is especially in the financial, technology realm, it's got to work. It's got to be clean. It's our money. You don't want it, no glitches. Ain't no time for glitches. That causes stress. Uh, this is my family. It's my wife, Brittany. These are three of the children. This is us 2 weeks ago down in Thailand. I've made the decision as well. We've made decisions as a family to, to choose family lifestyle, and it goes against some norms of like, what it's what month are we? We're May.
Yeah.
This is prime time school season. What are these kids not doing in school? Well, they're in world school right now, and they are learning so much every day. It is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. And I encourage everybody, if you have the opportunity to go and to travel and to work and include your family in opportunities, it's a wonderful thing to do. Um, I also have an artist tint to me. I like, one of the things of in the crypto realm, the Bitcoin space, has just been such a mishmash of incredible people over the years. Like, it started as like these like anarchists, like cypherpunk developers, and then it was a lot of like the libertarians were kind of the next wave into it. And then I'll say like all of a sudden, like all these artists started getting into it. All those like Burning Man, free men, free people, nomads, like, started getting in. And then the suits and the institutions started getting in. And then a larger swath of general artists started coming in. And now I think the numbers are, I think we're probably north of like 10% of people, have had a wallet or interacted with crypto at some point, but it's still very, very early. And the growth is going to come, and the foundations. What I realize is the foundations are there. Anyways, in this piece of art, there are 44 Bitcoin wallets. Is a beautiful, incredible piece of art that has a very aspirational statement. Inside, there's little cards, and they're actually the keys. It's really cool technology that I would like to, at a later date, as part of our wallet discussions and understanding different techs and how it can work, and teaching y'all, we'll delve into it. Um, I also come from a political kind of family. My mother was the First Lady of Canada. She was married to Pierre Elliott Trudeau. My half brother is Justin Trudeau. He was the Prime Minister of Canada for 9 years, 10 years. Um, the first half of that were really everything was good. Then COVID came along, and we had like an ideological, like, our vibrations were just a little bit different and mismatched. And I'm a staunch defender of liberty and freedom, and I just couldn't stand what was taking place during those times. And especially recognizing that anytime there's a very large kind of panic or global thing, like, after 9/11, they introduced the Patriot Act. With the whole COVID thing, they came on heavy with vaccine passports, health data. I was just like, oh my gosh, they're going to lock people down in their rooms and create these different kind of constructs. And I was very reluctant, and I'm not going to bring that into this realm, other than just say, like, we had a little bit of a difference of opinions around things. I love him to death. He is an amazing. He's my brother, and I have a great family, and I love my mother and my father, and it's terrific. I also took a break for a little bit to work with Bobby Kennedy, who was, one of also the staunch defenders of liberty and freedom. And I met his son and was invited to participate. So I took a break from crypto, and I was the lead activator on Team Kennedy. I was running 1,000-person weekly Zoom calls, teaching engagement strategies, guerrilla marketing, like all sorts of different things that we can do. Just trying to hold the vibe, hold the space, like, trying to make sure that we're good, because politics can be such an energetic, so much hate, so much positive energy, so much hope too. And gosh, there was a lot of hope behind Bobby. And I still have a lot of hope. And I actually had a big RV. You can see it there. This was the Kennedy bus. We drove it 40,000 miles all across America with my wife, with our kids, meeting with donors, with supporters, with other candidates, like just engaging. We had a big speaker on top, like just doing crazy activations. I have the benefit as well of being a little bit wild when it comes to different type of viral marketing, street activation stuff. I'm part of a group called the Decentralized Dance Party. We hold very large, radically inclusive dance parties, in the streets. We've done them in Toronto, Vancouver, Zurich, Miami, Austin, Berlin, all over. That's a whole nother thing. But I'm not going to get into now, but brought that to the Kennedy side. And then in this journey, I just would start meeting really incredible people. And I had the opportunity to sit down, and meet with Tucker Carlson and do an episode with him. And obviously, like his whole thing was, let's talk about your brother and go in that direction. But I think I brought a pretty high vibe towards that conversation. I don't know, people seem to like it. I don't think I even rewatched it because I was really proud of it. Everyone said it was good. Okay, it's good. Let's go. Tucker, legend. He's a good friend now. And but he is even someone that this technology all fits like Bitcoin, but they don't, a lot of these people don't get it. So there's gonna be an opportunity to create more awareness and to introduce and showcase. And so following, all of that, that was the kind of the tail end was the summer of 2024, and we had the Bitcoin Nashville event, and Bobby Kennedy and Trump were speaking, and a good friend. I was out at one of the events, and a good friend kind of introduced me to, or came over to our place and brought some guests with him, and one of those guests was none other than Emmanuel Quezada. And just had and Nick calls me young man. He's an old soul. But had the chance to kind of connect with him. A great aura, great vibe. And I don't know, there's just sometimes you have that opportunity to meet someone, you're like, yeah, there's something, it just feels right. And didn't know where it was going to go or how it was going to kind of unfold and play out. But in talking to him, it was very exciting. And the vision of Utopia at the time that he was working on didn't fully kind of understand it. Certainly, it wasn't quite as to where it is now. I think now we've got a much more refined vision, and strategy, which is a product of bringing great people around. And one of the things that Emmanuel has done is just bring great people in. So he reached out to me, about 6 months ago and said, would you be interested in really helping me and participating and growing and building and visioneering and strategizing and creating, a company, a movement, a community that can, further the entire crypto momentum in the space and that energy. And I said, absolutely, I would love to. When we started kind of engaging, and he was always like, must come, let's get together. So, when I decided, okay, let's come to Bangkok and kind of meet the whole team, that's when, oh my gosh, I just, again, will say, the what Emmanuel and what the team has created is really special, and getting a very clear picture too now of I didn't understand the networking, side of the business and how the DAO and the memberships were going to really support the product, because I'm like a product person through and through. I want our app to be so clean and so beautiful, so clean, so beautiful that people sign on, they use it, they fund it, they start tap paying with it, and as we introduce more features over time, they use those. But more than anything, they tell their other friends and invite their other friends to come and participate. Because one of the things I know about financial institutions is that Clients of financial institutions are considered very sticky. They do not move unless they have, a really traumatic experience. Fees might be a little bit better elsewhere. Doesn't really matter. Once people have a good financial solution, it's such a core need that everybody has that when you have a working solution, you generally choose it and stick with it. With Utopia and the vision for the app and the institution, I really believe that people will come in, and this is a new segment, and there's a lot of opportunity to enter this. And I'll also say I think generally the sentiment towards the large retail banks that we have given a lot of our money and energy to, we recognize they're not our enemies, but they're not our friends. They're not, and we don't really own them or have share in them. So with Utopia, we're changing that. We're creating a structure, and then understanding the distribution. How do you launch an app and get it out to a lot of people in an effective manner? Well, networking. Let's go. Like we already have, I think, I don't know, 700 or approaching 1,000 people, and it's been like a couple weeks. We're launching in October. We'll be rolling out like, versions like sneak peeks and a beta testing program before that, so people can, get in and use and make sure that, when we do go public with it, that everything is clean and it affords this. And, the nice thing about our pragmatic approach, October, it might seem like it's a long way away, but it's not that far. Like time flies. And building a good, robust product takes some time. So I'm confident that we have the time and that we'll build that. And then in the meantime, we're building out, this engine, this networking engine, the U.Center, which will have the main product on top of it is the academy, which is knowledge. And one thing that you can go on YouTube, and find a solution to anything. It's crazy. It's like we have so much access to information. But when you put down a couple dollars towards signing up for a service, there's like a self-accountability thing towards doing this. And also, when you're just freely navigating YouTube on a quest for knowledge, it's like you're basically you're deciding your curriculum yourself. You're not necessarily learning from the wisdom of a good professor or a good like academic institution, helping guide and create that structure. So do we have the exact map for how we're going to deliver incredible value through the academy? Yes, with your input. We need to know your input around what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be really relying on you. I can seed a whole bunch of questions and get feedback as to whether you'll want answers to them. For example, well, just quickly go through kind of these slides. We're Tap Pay as our product. You guys are gonna love it. This is like payments is something I know very, very well. And the Apple Pay experience, nothing can beat it right now. It's literally the best. Maybe some of the Asian QR code solutions, but the general, like from actual usability, boop, boop, psh, so good. So good. This is our entry mode into this space, is enabling stable coins, crypto, on-ramping traditional fiat into stable coins, into crypto, onto the card, tap, tap, boom, enabling that core thing, which is we all need to be able to use money and pay money. So we enable that. We've got a great, launch product that I don't think anyone in this room will have any problem communicating that message out. And then we start adding the other things, like, introducing the full wallet and understanding, the yielding opportunities, how once you have digital money, like traditionally banks would offer you an interest return or like a rate of return for your money that you hold with them, usually below inflation. With stable coins and digital finance, there's great solutions. It's a whole emerging market. There's excellent returns. So there's elements of risk to it. But this is going to be one of these new frontiers that we can participate in. And I also just say the card right now, like in the longer arc of things, the credit card as we have it now, in the Apple Pay, I would akin it to the DVD that was sent out by Netflix in the beginning. In the beginning, Netflix would send DVDs to people. They used that. It wasn't until later that they had a big enough, user base and audience, and also that the technology kind of caught up that they could offer full advanced streaming services, that they shifted to that. Now Netflix doesn't do any CDs. So I believe the future is smart, seamless transactions that are running on crypto rails, where you are authenticating them, or your agents are authenticating them. And that's where we get to. But for now, let's just use what people are familiar with. Tap, tap, pay. Let's go all day. That's what we kind of launch with. So just tap, tap, pay. And then the U.Center, now this is what we're talking about. This is where, how do we upskill ourselves as a community towards understanding the messaging of what we're doing, but also protecting ourselves as a community against the dangers that are out there, because within the world of crypto, there are many different attack vectors, and knowledge is your best defense. So let's go over that. I'm fortunate of being in Bitcoin and crypto so long that I've dealt with so many of the questions, and I'm happy to have an open door towards answering questions and making people feel comfortable. Because if you have that question, somebody else has that question too. So let's create a safe environment for us to go through this. And if I don't have that answer, I will find that answer. I will find the right person to bring on to help educate. And that is how we don't just create a win-win scenario. That is how we create a win to the power of win scenario. This is how we exponentially win. And I want all of us in this community, this is one area. All of you are beautiful human souls that have your own visions, purpose, desires, goals. Let's create this as a shared adventure that if we succeed in this, we are all going to succeed incredibly well. And that starts with the academy, not even worrying so much. The Utopia is icing on the cake. And the participation that comes from that as part of the networking thing, in addition to just the raw benefits of the networking, the Utopia share DAO participation element, that is icing on the cake. But the membership, the academy, honestly, if we answer basic questions and like teaching financial literacy, creating your digital skills, enabling more entrepreneurship and innovation, working on the personal development, how to be a better networker, a better human, how do we build a stronger community? How do we have each other's backs? How do we, create strong webbed mesh community, as opposed to, all just being, lower levels in a hierarchical pyramid. So one of the things, this is an idea. I'm now going to just go into a couple of the academy potential ideas, and then I'm going to open it up for questions, and we can do a couple back and forth, like straight Q&A. But I'm going to just to preface this, once we get to the end of this, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to open the chat, and I would like everyone to just put in questions. There's no stupid questions. Please put in as many questions, because we're going to pull them together, aggregate them, send it back to you, get feedback on what the direction that, like, what the consensus direction is, so that we can be informed as we're building out the curriculum for the academy. That's how we roll. So one of the ideas, the Kemper-Clifford model. This was a paper that I wrote many years ago when working with central banks, when I was trying to tell the central banks, you need to buy Bitcoin. And I knew that if I could sell them on the concept, they would have the question, how much Bitcoin? And so we created a formula, a very simple, powerful formula that was defendable, that wasn't about being overexposed or underexposed. It was about neutral exposure. It was about protecting wealth. And when you're talking to pension plans and central banks and these people that are all worried about risk, I thought it was a no-brainer. They fucking laughed me out, said, no way we're doing this. It would hurt our reputation. I was like, oh, your reputation is more important than the risk. Anyways, that's just like I would like to teach you guys the formula so we can adopt it and understand it and spread it towards moving, in that Bitcoin saving kind of way. Anyways, that's one kind of model. Then the other option is like, explaining the different types of crypto wallets. Like, this is really key. We're going to be introducing our own, but by no means is that the only one you're ever going to use, because there's many different ways. And it's important just to understand how wallets work, the different structures of them, interoperability amongst wallets. Like, if you have one wallet on one, will it work on another? Yes, it will. And I can show you why it's like that. What is dollar cost averaging? This is like, a wealth accumulation strategy. Also, nothing I ever say will be financial advice. It's only wisdom. Just going to preface that. Dollar cost averaging is like, a solution where if I've been buying $1 worth of Bitcoin every day since I learned about Bitcoin, damn, very easy to do, like $1 a day. It doesn't sound like much, but it's like, over time, over 13 years, if we calculated that, it'd be, really, really, that's very big. How to avoid cryptocurrency scams. Like, this is one of the things that we can do. And I know very clearly how to avoid the scams, what to watch out for. The importance of never sharing your private key, never sharing your screen, never connecting to unseen sites, being wary about OPSEC in general. Like, how secure your passwords? What are you doing? And also then there's legacy planning. That's a whole nother thing we can talk about, but avoiding scams right there, super duper valuable. How does Bitcoin work? We want to get into just the basics of, like, what's Bitcoin mining? How does the transaction actually work? What is the blockchain? What are nodes? How much Bitcoin? Why is there so much Bitcoin? How much Bitcoin is left to be mined? The core understanding of Bitcoin will help you understand what is Dogecoin, what is Ethereum, what is Solana, what is Avalanche, what is Ripple or XRP, what is USDC, what are stable coins? Obviously, stable coins are super hot, and we're going to have a real deep dive on stable coins versus CBDCs. Like, I believe the category that we are operating in now is called StableFi, stable coin finance. And we are creating a whole, whole suite of solutions to really benefit. And this is a fast growing segment, and there's going to be competition. But if we can strike and insert ourselves with a good solution with the power of a big network, boom, we will establish ourselves as, the part of the top tier batch. Let's go. The basics of seed phrases and private keys, understanding just seed phrases, how they work, what a private key is, how you can safely secure and store your keys, things to avoid, why you shouldn't take screenshots of your private keys. Yeah, how you can do what multi-signature means. Yeah, these are all things we'll get to. Okay, so this is the point where now I'm going to stop talking because I want to take a sip of this water and just breathe and reflect. And I want you guys to get to work and just open up the chat we're gonna, can you open up the chat? Here, I'll do it here.
Yeah.
We just go. Hold on.
Oh, we have chats here. Let's see. All right, guys, is this pretty good content or what? Is this pretty good content?
All right, everyone can chat now. We're in here. So please,
Nice.
please drop questions or feedback. But let's try and like the more, because at the end I'm going to capture all of this and do this. And I also wanted to say this is our first time playing together. And as we go, I'm a huge believer in continual improvement. Things aren't going to be perfect, but I've run a lot of Zoom sessions, and I know that I've had giant dance parties on Zoom, like we did during COVID. I think we had like 50 of them, of like people going crazy. We had the music syncing. It was awesome. Costumes, like just creating light in a time of weird darkness. So I know that we can create great stuff. And same with the Kennedy campaign in terms of building a community and encouraging like connection and also feedback and participation so that you guys can go like, our whole goal is building out a bigger community and onboarding others into the academy and into our movement. So
Excellent. So, guys, this is now your chance to talk to Kyle Kemper. Please put in some more questions. We have a couple of questions coming in right now. Feel free to ask any question you want.
yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
All right, we're going full screen again. All right, cool.
Yeah, and if you want to ask a question, please just put up your hand and let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's do this.
Don't bite.
Well, it's not the worst way to spend your Saturday with Kyle Kemper. So let's see here.
Oh,
All right.
all right. Well,
Hey.
we have Emmanuel. So if nobody's asking questions, let's ask
good questions.
All right, we have a few questions. We have a few questions.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Are you able to see them there, or do you want to see them here?
I think that there is fine.
They're over here. All
Yeah.
right. Can I make this bigger or no?
Yeah,
Put there.
yeah. So one of the question is, there is going to be a DAO treasury, Kyle.
Yes.
Do you want to reply or do I reply?
you can answer that.
Okay, for sure, 100%. There's going to be a few DAO treasuries. We're establishing the first DAO treasury in the next 5-6 days. The treasury is going to be public. The treasury is going to be regulated by the Russell Cayman government and UAE. The treasury, pretty much everyone will be able to participate as any DAO, as any good DAO. You have a public treasury, and the voting power relies on the members. So yeah, sorry for jump, guys. Like,
That's great. That's great. And that's some inside alpha, and even that's 5-6 days. Okay, that's very, very
the
fast.
tech is that, yeah.
The tech is there, and we'll make sure that once like we implement and roll out, it's clean and great. Okay, here's another question.
Have the wallet and card in the app pre-launch? No, guys, but we have tested the card. After this, we're going to send you a video of one celebration that Utopia had by the launch of U.Center. We publicly test the app. Right now, we're already connected into the Visa network, which is allowing us to participate in the economy over 150 countries. We're slowing the release because right now we want to make the product as perfect as possible, and as well we want that every market gets the best out of it. So we will be rolling in the next weeks for a few people. Actually, in this call, I know a few names that are going to be the first testers, and then we will start onboarding the people.
Indeed. And but publicly with others, we're saying October. Like, it's important that we give ourselves the time. So one question here that said, What will there be any rewards for participating in the academy knowledge and doing the courses? I think that's a great idea, and I definitely want, like, if we're gonna put all the effort of creating this content, in partnership, we want to have a feedback mechanism to, and also I think people, generally with an academy or a school, you have a quiz or for some feedback that establishes.
No, yeah, pretty much proof of knowledge. Proof of knowledge. Yeah, we're doing proof of knowledge. We want you guys smarter, and we want to compensate you guys by learning and by growing yourself. So when you learn, you actually earn. That implementation will be released maybe around October. Again, when you have a DAO, you need to evolve the DAO a bit by a bit, and proof of knowledge and learn to earn is part of the roadmap. Okay, I saw one question. This one is pretty interesting. Do you feel that singularity or quantum entanglement will be an issue in the very near future? What kind quantum resistance tools have you implemented into this ecosystem? Well, singularity and quantum entanglement are two opposite science. One is physics, one is the overachievement of artificial intelligence. How are we preparing? We're actually quantum proof. We're getting audited maybe every 2 weeks. We want to have the highest level of protection. Just for the people that don't know what is the singularity of quantum entanglement, I don't blame you. We might teach that in the academy, but but yeah.
Again, that's something that people are interested. It's like, what happens? Is Bitcoin, is your system going to be secure if quantum computing attacks start taking place?
I don't blame them. The quantum computing
That's
is really powerful.
Well, being absolutely aware of that and understanding, okay, and here's this is our community of shared users and owners, and we want to make sure we have shared knowledge and understanding of the general questions. So part of all these interactions will be towards building up a strong knowledge base so that you have access to the questions very quickly. And probably an AI that you can just ask, like literally, like, the Utopia GPT, that literally just ask it, and we'll be feeding it and aggregating with all the information just to make things simple. Don't want to make shit complicated. We want to make things simple and it works.
Correct. We like simplicity because that means that we're doing our job well.
There's a great question. How can you easily make a plan to have your crypto to be accessible to your next of kin when you die? I am very new to all of this and was just thinking about this. Okay, that is great. We're going to do a whole session about succession planning and understanding, backing up your keys so that you can do that. Also, like, from our point of view, how can we create a technical solution to maybe enable that? There's ways to just generally do that. And I think it actually asks a deeper question of what happens to all of my digital information if I were to pass, more than just the money. And I think we need to kind of drill down to that and actually, taking a moment. It's not something we generally like to do, but just being aware that, sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that, wealth that we may have been accumulating for a long time doesn't get lost because selfishly or stupidly or just in an oversight, we didn't create a mechanism by which people could recover.
And the good thing is that our wallet will have an insurance. The insurance provider is called Coin Cover. People can go and search it. That will get implemented in the next month and a half. So pretty much when people lose the access to their accounts, either by their own mistakes or because they're no longer with us in this world, they will be able to transfer that the ownership of their digital assets through the insurance. Coin Cover, you guys can search it. It's one of the best companies in the world. And that is one technology that we're implementing. That is one technology that I will say 99% of the wallets don't have. I was, okay, let's say 95, just to not be pessimistic. But yeah, we're pretty unique. We're always thinking in how to make the product better for the people, how to make the product for you guys. And yeah, that's one of the main problems that we're targeting. I will say one more question, and then we let Nick close the meeting. Is that okay for you guys?
Absolutely.
Go, you pick, Kyle.
I pick. Will there be a 2FA on the app? Yes.
That's that.
Okay,
one more.
where in Bangkok is your office? Are we free to drop by? Absolutely.
Of course. You guys can come here. Let's drink a coffee. We will not disclose the full address, but you can contact your leader. You can contact the people that invite you to this link. They can connect you with us. We can schedule a meeting. As well, we're doing a co-working space for you guys with amazing coffee. So you guys can come and work from here. You can do your calls here, top 5G internet, and you guys can come and enjoy Bangkok with us.
Oh, that's a good point too. So people are asking what's live now. So what that was live right now is U.Center is live. The memberships are live. They're working. The structure, the networking component of it, it's all working. The withdrawals are working. The deposits are working. You can buy your memberships. Your referral codes are working. The flow structures are all working. The ripples are all working. The aggregation, all of that is working. There's the Utopia materials. Also, it's really important, guys. We need to remember this is like very critical. U.Center is an academy, is our community, is our educational portal, is our membership community. Utopia is the product solution that that U.Center has partnered with. They are two separate
Company
entities. There is like I mentioned earlier, there is the icing and cherries on top as that connect. This is the big, the app, the financial institution that is going to that's going to benefit from, the U.Center. But the U.Center is an academy where we're going to teach, where we're going to learn, where we're going to empower, and where we're going to mobilize ourselves and our communities towards coming in and learning and benefiting from the amazing structure that these legends in the networking space have kind of set up. And I will say our studio is in development right now. It's very close. I'm pushing. It's like, okay, we're ordering the soundboards, microphones, the table's already there, the control room is there. It's like we're gonna have a really nice studio in order to produce. I'm gonna be here for one more month, and generating content and taking in this feedback and literally working just nonstop on the academy side of things. Because product is rolling, the direction, the vision, the mandate has been provided as to what and how this thing must work and how great it's going to be and how simple and clean and delightful it's going to be. But we need to, I know now y'all want to see some educational information. We want to create a feedback loop. So we're going to do that. It's coming. That's what's more.
Please, guys, come to Bangkok. We can record video with you guys. We can do podcast. If you guys are interested in meet us, just come to Bangkok, contact your leaders. We can just take you for dinner or something. Just come here. Take a few photos, do calls, and enjoy Thailand.
And yeah, exactly. And so many people have come here that one of the nice things, one of the effects of people coming and visiting and seeing the office is they come, they experience, and then they go back to wherever in the world they came from, and they tell a story. And it's very exciting. And I'll tell you, Bangkok, this is like, I'll never ever forget the Bangkok experience. It's what an amazing, incredible place.
Now to Nick. Okay, Nick, you're on mute. We're going to mute yourself now. Go for it, brother.
All right, guys. Hopefully this was valuable to you. Please give us a thumbs up or a heart if you like the content on tonight's call. I don't know if it was night, morning, day. Oh, getting a lot of hearts. This was amazing. Big thank you to Mr. Kyle Kemper. Please thank you also to Emmanuel for joining us as a surprise here as well. I hope that you guys are now understanding and feeling really what Utopia is about. This is, these people are real. Like, these people are actually here. They're actually running the company. This has actually been prepared for years and years and years. The time is now. Everything is now coming together. This is technology is coming together. Legislation is coming together. The world is looking for solutions. The frustrations are real. The solutions are now real. And we're now looking to you guys to reach out to those people around you who that are looking for this. And so again, please be reminded, we launch in October, okay? We launch in October. So everything between today and October, what you're gonna see on a weekly basis, week by week by week, is we are unlocking more things on the technology, on the tools, on the marketing, on the systems. You're gonna be learning, getting to know the team more and more every single week.